Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Moorish Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka Black, and tonight, our special guest, the Walter Williams. Brother Yoel will also be with us this evening as we deal with why people of African descent born in America are not citizens. Okay? I'm going to put in my 2-cent worth, but before I do, I'm going to go to the commercials, and when we come back, we'll be going down into the broadcast. Okay, so you all hold on for a minute, and we'll be ready to go.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
The person you want to talk to about beating foreclosure or mortgages or exercising your freedom of right to travel is someone who has already done it and can provide you with proof that they have done it, right? Go to www.newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com. Call me, Tarhaka Black. Contact me directly, area code 904-303-9061. 904-303-9061. The person you want to talk to is the person who have done it. If you got problems with credit card debt, student loan, child support, you name it, contact me, Tarhaka Black, 904-303-9061. Go to www.newdebtelimination.com. Still, one of the biggest problems facing people in this country today is debt. The election of a new president doesn't mean your debt will go away. For student loan, child support, mortgage, foreclosure, credit card debt, etc., contact me, Tarhaka Black, 904-303-9061 before 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or visit newdebtelimination.com. You need to get out of debt now. Send for my free report by clicking on the Contact Us page at newdebtelimination.com. Fill it out, and I'll send my free report straight to your email address. Okay? That's www.newdebtelimination.com. Contact me directly, 904-303-9061, about solutions to the problems of debt. Okay, we back. Now, as far as people of African descent born in America, being citizens or not. We got a question. What does the Constitution of the United States have to do with people of African descent in America? Okay. And the way that I view this situation is this way. First of all, we have to look at what was going on in the country at the time the Constitution was written. What position were people of African descent in this country? Now, we know that there were people of African descent on this land prior to anyone else being here. And all this business about natives and the Indians and all this was manufactured right here in the United States. The word black, Negro, colored, African American, Afro American, all of these are brands and labels that was created right here in the United States. Every fish in the ocean has an identity. But when you take a little fish and you cut his head off, you cut his tail, and put him in a can and label him sardine, that's manufactured. There's no such thing as a fish in the ocean that's a sardine. It doesn't exist. It was created and it was manufactured. We have people of African descent enslaved and being treated as slaves in the United States. And the people that were actually drafting the Constitution, writing it up, were the owners of slaves. What does that have to do with people of African descent? I mean, it's just, this is where I look at it. I mean, in my opinion, there's no way to cut it. I don't see how a man that's enslaving you will create documentation to set you free at the same time when he's holding you in bondage. That doesn't make any sense. However, we still have people of African descent, in the courtroom talking about I want my constitutional rights, and I'm trying to figure out what rights are you referring to? What constitutional rights? Anyway, we're going to deal with it tonight. Why people of African descent born in America are not citizens. Okay, so we got to clearly understand that. First of all, the United States filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1933 and is currently in this bankruptcy. They took all the gold from the people, which is the real money, and made it against the law for you to use that to pay for anything. And then they turned around and sold your land, pledged your land to somebody. They pledged all the property, pledged this, pledged that, and so they had nothing else to pledge. So they pledged you. But the United States is a corporation. So therefore, we ask a common sense question again. What corporation on the face of this earth has citizens? I don't know none. Walmart ain't got no citizens. They got employees, but not citizens. So we're going to get down into this thing and try to discover what kind of situation we have going with this citizenship in America. And this is something that we really want to define. We want to get to the definition and define this stuff. Clearly define it so that way we'll have the facts. Because if you got the facts, then you can do some things. If it has been defined, then you can do something with it. Okay? Because you clearly understand what it is that you're doing. So we're going to deal with that tonight. Brother Yoel and Dr. Walter Williams will be with us this evening, and we're going to get their take on this thing. So that way we can have a clear and concise understanding of what's going on. Okay? Now, I see we got a guest with his hand raised. I'm going to open up the line. Going to area code 312. What's going on, brother?
Hey, peace be upon you, brother. Brother Yoel.
Peace be upon you, brother Yoel. Okay. I appreciate you being in here and dialing into the broadcast, brother. And first of all, could you, before we start on the question, could you let the listening audience know who you are and where you are and what you're involved in, and give us a little information on that?
Okay, yes, sir. My name is, I go by Brother Yoel, and I am in Chicago, Illinois, owner of the Underground Bookstore in Chicago, Illinois, for the past 23 years now, and just trying to do my job in Chicago to enlighten and inform the people, as you are there in Florida. So that's what I've been doing. Okay. All right. Well, what is your take on this? People of African descent in the United States being citizens. How do you see that? Well, first and foremost, let me just say that I think that the conversation is way past due right now. And I say that because in light of recent events in the past, maybe let's just go back 5 to 10 years. The number of brothers who've been getting shot down in the streets by police officers and stuff like this, and not many of those that I'm aware of at this time, if any, has went to jail for the murders. Even if they capture them on camera, they don't seem to go to jail. What does seem to happen is, in a civil case, they give them compensation for the murder of that mother or father's property, that child. So that's been making me take a hard look at what exactly do we need to be looking at right now, and why is this happening, and what then therefore is the status or standings of the so-called black, Negro, colored folks in this country right now. What status do we have? How is our standings, the rest of the people in this country and throughout the world here, so that we can kind of, get a handle on why these things are happening, and nobody's going to jail for anything here. So that's what's been making me take a hard look at what's going on. And if it's a problem of standing or status, then we need to correct that, because obviously we ain't got the right one, because I don't think it would be happening in the way in which is happening. That's what. So right now, what I've concluded is it does, in my little research, and I'm not an expert on it, and I don't claim to be, but I think that it is. We are in the same position as we were. We have been for the last 152 years, and that is not citizens of this country, but yet we are property of what you just mentioned earlier, a corporation, the federal corporation located in the area of 10 square mile radius of called Washington, D.C. It seems that Lincoln didn't do what we thought he did. So we're not. My position is, I don't think we're citizens here.
Okay. Well, I have to agree with you wholeheartedly about the citizenship. But as far as the how a man is treated and what a man allows another man to do and get away with, that's a whole different ballgame. Because all when I was in school, I seen one simple thing. Anytime you had a bully, and you didn't stop him, he gonna keep on doing what he's doing. Because it doesn't, in my opinion, it don't have nothing to do with your citizenship. When you got a man, you allow a man to take a weapon and kill one of your family members, and you don't do nothing about it, he's gonna keep on doing it. Until you stop that man, he's gonna keep on doing it. And any time a man is approached by another man with a weapon, that means your life is in danger. And we can clearly understand that. We the system is one thing, but self-preservation is the first law of nature. All these shooters and all this right here, what happens when the so-called black man starts shooting back? What happened then? Things start changing, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's just the bottom line on it, man. We ain't, me personally, I don't get excited about that, man. I had a cop tell me one time, "Well, I see you, I'm arrest you." I didn't look at him. I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't say nothing to him. But I already know me. They believe in Jesus across the street from my house. Not over here, where I'm at. But anyway, as far as the citizenship go, and status. Now, I do teach the brothers and sisters about their status in commerce. And when you are dealing with status of commerce, we only got two types of people in the United States: debtors and creditors, public, and there's a private. And here recently we've been trying to teach the brothers, preparing them to actually operate in the private. And but the question of citizenship and personal identity is very, very important. My legal and political status is Moorish American. Our bloodline is ancient African Egyptian. Our family name is Moor. Now, I'm not trying to convince anybody of that or anything. I'm not trying to convince you. I don't have to. If you know who you are, then that's important to you. And if you are who you say you are, or who you know you are to be, then you simply act like it. That's it. That's the way I see it. You can either be a man, a woman, or you ain't. And if you got children in this world, you have to protect them. Those are your children. I had a cop one time went around there to my older son's house, and his mama called me and told me, the cops looking for your son. I said, "You been around there?" "Yeah, they been around there." I said, "Did any one of them walk in that house with a gun on them over my grandchildren?" "No, he didn't come in the house." She swore up and down and down. And I said, "Where he at? Did he got a phone number?" She said, "Yeah, he gave me his card." And I called the cop. I said, "Hey, man, did you walk in that house with a gun on you?" "I didn't do that. I ain't walking out with no gun on me." I said, "All right." Hung the phone up. Because those are my grandchildren. They believe in Jesus across the street from my house. Not in here. But anyway, I'm going to take a little quick break, Brother UL, so hang on. And we're going to bring in Dr. Walter Williams so we can get his take on this thing. But in my opinion, it's based on how you see things.
Well, can I add a little something to what you just said there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would agree with what you said. But however, 152 years, and most of all of mine, 60 on the planet, and most of us a person didn't know that they wasn't. I didn't know that I wasn't a citizen. Okay, so a person would have to have knowledge of the fact that they are not, in order for them to act in such a way. Wouldn't you agree? Okay,
yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, you had to know this. I remember when I got a family down in Orlando, Florida, and when I went down there, my cousin took me out of the yard, and I looked, and I just seen land, just land, as far as your eyes could see to the right, far as your eyes could see to the left. I mean, I said, well, who owns all that land over there? And she said, this used to be our land. And as the elders started dying off, we couldn't manage the land, so we started selling the land off. She said, but all this land, all this was your granddaddy's land right here. Now, what I didn't know is I didn't know that my granddaddy had this massive amount of land. I knew that my great-great-granddaddy had a massive amount of land. And all this business about us coming over here on a slave ship, we don't know nothing about that. The oldest people in my great-great-grandmama, she finally died about 109 years old. She said, we always been here. Always. This is, we don't, she said, I heard something about some stuff about slavery, but none of that didn't happen over here. Because if they didn't come over here with that, your granddaddy then would have killed him. I said, okay, I hear that for a fact. Because my cousin told me, said one time, granddaddy was outside and said, white man come out the bushes with a rifle. And I asked him, say, is this your land? He said, that's right, it is. And what you doing on it? He said, well, I'm getting off it right now. He said, well, you better hurry up. He said, well, yes, sir, I'm leaving. And got the hell up off of it. So there's a lot of things that we don't know that we need to know about your own self. And, we got a lot of things that's being told to us about what happened and what didn't happen. But it's important for us to actually know that for a fact. And when you know who you are, I don't waste no time with no junk like that. I ain't trying to convince nobody about my identity. They already know who I am. All about it. I'm that same man that my granddaddy and great-great-granddaddy them was. And all his brothers. Same kind of man. Zero tolerance for BS. But anyway, I'm going and open up this other phone line here and see if we can bring the illustrious doctor in here. Area code 773. Area code 773. Dr. Walter Williams, you with us?
Yes, sir. Brother Tarhaka, I'm with you.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Ready to go?
Welcome, my brother. First of all, you want to tell us about for the new people that's here on the broadcast, you want to let them know about your books and how to get a hold to them and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I am Walter Williams. I've been on your program many, many times. I'm the author of 2 books. Those 2 books are The Historical Origin of Christianity. The thesis of that book is saying that there has never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ never existed. That book has been out 24 years now, and it's selling all over America, all in the UK, in the Caribbean, and all English-speaking countries. My second book, called The Historical Origin of Islam, the thesis of that book is saying that there's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Prophet Muhammad of Islamic tradition never existed. That book has been out for 14 years and is selling in the same place where the historical origin of Christianity is being sold. It's a very popular book. Both of them are very, very popular. And I get repeat sales throughout the year. So it is carrying a strong message in our African community. And I'm glad, Brother Tarhaka, that you bring up the topic whether we African people are citizens of this country. And I'm glad that you have Brother Yoel on with you to assist us in this conversation. I don't know if Sister Emma McGowan is on or not. I wish she would.
No, I didn't get a chance, man. We got turned around today. Woo. But anyway, she won't be with us this evening, but in the future we're going to get on here.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Last time I talked with her, she was assured me that she would be on with us. So anyway, we're going to continue on as we were. And did you want to take a break there, Brother Tarhaka?
Well, no. Go ahead. Because I was able to do.
Well, let's get to the origin of why we Africans born in America are not citizens of the United States of America. Now, you got to go back. I heard you mention something about the Moors. What you said about the Moors and our connection as a people, as African people with the Moors, and what you said about the Moors and us Africans in this hemisphere of North America are connected with the ancient Egyptians of antiquity. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to the time when the Moors came over here with Christopher Columbus. They said that Christopher Columbus discovered America, that he did for white people. You have to add that. Like you said, our forefathers, who are Africans, and the Native American Indians have always been here all the time. So America was not discovered only by white people under Christopher Columbus coming over here in 1492 with the African Moors out of Spain. Those African Moors who lived in North Africa, in the countries that borders the Mediterranean, Morocco and Mauritania, were asked white European Spaniards or the Spanish to come to Spain and civilize them. They didn't ask white folks to do that because white Europeans didn't have the knowledge of civilization because they weren't civilized themselves. So therefore, they asked white European Spain, asked Africans living in Morocco and Mauritania to come to Spain and bring civilization to that country. That they did. The name Moor is a nickname, a name to hide the true identity of them as being their ancestors, being the ancient Egyptians. So therefore, they came to Spain, and they set up literacy there, schools for learning, and they set up a government for Spain, and they set up and began to build buildings and cities throughout Spain, Granada, Seville, Toledo, Cadillac, etc. Those are cities built by our African ancestors, the Moors. Now, when the seed of Christianity moved out of Northeast Africa, out of the double-walled city of Constantinople, out of the world's first Christian church, which is the Church of Hagia Sophia, over there in Northeast Africa, when that seed was moved out of that Northeast African location, and by John VIII, who went into Florence, Italy in 1439 and relinquished what is known in history as the donation of Constantine. So that seat of Christianity could be moved from Northeast Africa out of Africa into Europe, on the outskirts of Rome. Over the catacombs, Eugenius IV and Nicholas V began to dig up over the catacombs, which is where the Romans buried their dead down in the ground. And they began to dig up those catacombs to make way for the building of St. Peter's Church, known today as St. Peter's Basilica. Now, when the Moors was asked, like I mentioned to you before, to come to Spain to bring civilization to white Europeans, Spain, that was in 1051. Okay? Now, 437 years later, after being over there in Spain, the Roman Catholic Church was established in 1445. So in 1478, which is 33 years after the Roman Catholic Church was established, they began to purge and demand that and get rid of the Moors out of Spain. They didn't want any traces of their existence over there because they didn't want the world to know that Africans came over in Spain and brought civilization to the first European country in Europe. And the Roman Catholic Church allied with the Spanish government to get rid of the Moors out of Spain. That was in 1478. In 1478, Ferdinand and Isabella created what is known in history as the Spanish Inquisition of 1478. And they hired a man by the name of Thomas de Guatemala to be the Inquisitor General of Spain. And he was also the Inquisitor General of the Roman Catholic Church. So they, the two of them, the Spanish government and the Roman Catholic Church, allied with each other and to get rid of the Moors out of Spain for racial and political reasons. So this sets up Christopher Columbus, who were hired by Ferdinand and Isabella, who owned a ship, and he took a certain amount of Moors out of Spain, and they found this hemisphere by accident. This hemisphere I'm talking about is what we know as the Americas, and now we're in North America. Now, that was in 1492. So from 1492 to the beginning of the slave trade in 1619, which is 127 years later, during that 127 years, the Moors, those African Moors, began to set up civilization for this hemisphere. This is the third civilization that was set up by Africans in the world. The first one was in Africa, in the continent of Africa, in Egypt, and by our ancestors who are known in history as the ancient Egyptians. They set up the world's first civilization. Therefore, they brought civilization to this whole entire planet that we call Earth, and they civilized every human on this planet Earth except for the European. Now, I say that except for the European because for 2,349 years, our ancestors have been trying to civilize this European, to make him a civilized human being, enabling him to live among other races without terrorizing them. But he don't get the point. So he set out to terrorize this whole entire planet that we call Earth and all humans living in it, including himself. But getting back to the Moors and this hemisphere. So for 127 years, from 1492 to 1619 is 127 years, the Moors set up civilization over in this hemisphere of the Americas and in North America, and so forth and so on, and throughout Central America. Now, so here comes the Spanish slave trade was initiated and created in 1619, 127 years after the Moors and Columbus came over in this hemisphere. They went into Africa and they got human cargo, human beings, and made them slaves over in this country, okay, by terrorizing them. And everybody in this, all the Africans in this country know that story of what happened to our ancestors in this country. Now, during the time of the slave trade of 1619, I want to bring this out, Brother Tarhaka, is that all Africans living in North America and throughout the Americas were not slaves. We had 380,000 free Africans living in this North America and Central America, et cetera, et cetera. They were free men. If you go to the movies and you see the movie 12 Years a Slave, that will attest to exactly what I'm saying at this very moment. So now, let's get back to the slave trade. So therefore, they put our ancestors in slavery, okay? And they put under one umbrella the enslaved African that was brought out of Africa in 1619, and they put the free Moors who lived, like I said, in this country at the time of the slave trade, 1619. They put the enslaved African out of Africa that was brought out of Africa and put into slave servitude over in this country, and the Moors who were free men in this country. They put them all under one umbrella and named them Negroes. You see? And Negro and black is one and the same. It's synonymous. So when you say I'm black, and I'm a Negro. When you say I'm a Negro, you're saying you're black. You see? And then Jesse Jackson comes along, and others came along and said, told the news media of this country to start calling us African Americans. Okay? So now, today, as I speak, in Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian Institute created a museum called the African American Museum of History and Culture. So they're telling the world and us as a people who don't know their history that our history started with slavery. That's misleading. Our history did not start with slavery. Okay? Our history as an African people started in ancient Egypt, in the continent of Africa, in the country called Egypt, and from the culture of the ancient Egyptians came forth all of civilization, for all of humanity. The alphabet, the first alphabet that was created on planet Earth. Our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, were the only and the first and only literate people on planet Earth during the time of antiquity. Because why? They created an alphabet to make themselves literate. So, and they also created all forms of mathematics. That's how they built the Great Pyramid that stands, that was originally 490 stories high, with the base on all four sides. Each side of the pyramid base measures 756 feet wide on all four sides. And that is how they use the discipline of what we know as mathematics. All forms of mathematics, and I can go on and on. They domesticated the earth, they domesticated the animals, and therefore creating agriculture and the first farmers on earth, and so forth and so on. So let's get back over in this hemisphere. Now you have, under one umbrella, the enslaved Africans from Africa, and you have the free Moors of Africa that came over here with Christopher Columbus, and these Spanish and Portuguese slave traders, they put the Moors under one, and the Africans who were enslaved over here under one umbrella. Now, in Spain, beginning in 1051, when the Africans were asked to come into Spain to bring civilization to Spain, 1051, as I said, they came out of Morocco and Mauritania. So therefore, Moor is a nickname. So therefore, I want you to understand that the Moor and the ancient Egyptian is one and the same. So the Negro in this country, given the name that the Spanish gave to the Moors to try to distance themselves in history, distance the Moors away from any connection with the ancient Egyptians, their ancestors. They did the same thing over in this hemisphere by using and calling the enslaved Africans and putting the Moors under one umbrella and say all of you all are Negroes. See? So if you can understand the Negro, the name Negro, and the name Negro and black is synonymous, the same thing, one and the same. So they are telling the world that we, as an African people living in this hemisphere, are, in fact, the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. That's what they're telling us at this very moment that I'm talking to you. So let's move forward. 168 years later, in 1787, the first United States conference was called to create a certificate or a document known as the United States Constitution, 1787, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At that time, like you mentioned, we as a people in 1787, we were enslaved in this country as human beings, as being put into slave servitude by this European. Okay? So therefore, they drew up a document. But before they drew up the document, they had a census taken over in this country. The census taken was between the North and the South. To find out which the North or the South will have more delegates, or how many delegates that each side will have at the convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in 1787. As you know, up north, you have more population in up north because you have cities and the people are consecrated together under one territory. That gives them a more count as to the census taken. In the South, you have more rural areas, so therefore you have less population. So therefore, the South asked the North, before this convention was held, 1787, the South asked the North, said, why can't we count the Negro? And the North said, no, we cannot count the Negro because the Negro is a slave. He's chattel. He's a non-human. And when you become chattel, you are just like a piece of toilet paper. I mean, you know, have no say-so. And people can use you as they please, as they wish to use you. So you become chattel. That means you become a item that belongs to someone else. Okay? So therefore, we were chattel. So therefore, the South could not get as many representation to be represented at this conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to draw up the United States Constitution, which is a worthless document. so far as we as African people are concerned. It's worthless. So what they did, they compromised. The South and the North compromised and said, well, we'll make this Negro 3/5 of a human being. So in the Constitution, we are listed without naming us as 3/5 humans or 3/5. And they said 3/5 and Indians are excluded from paying taxes. You see?
Okay.
So therefore, here we are in the Constitution listed as 3/5. Now, I've never seen 3/5 of a human being, but Europeans have, right, Europeans have indicated that we were 3/5 because we were chattel, so therefore we were not free. And those so-called founding thieves that they call founding fathers, and I call them founding thieves, they held slaves, human beings, on their property as chattels, slaves under the slave laws that they created, you see, under that Constitution. Therefore, under the Constitution, when it was drawn up in 1787, we were not even considered humans, let alone to be considered to be a citizen of this country. Okay? We were considered chattel slaves, meaning that we were property of those founding thieves of this country. So that's how that Constitution was drawn up. And then let's go forward a little bit more. In 1857, the head of the Supreme Court, the white supremacy court known as the Supreme Court of the United Snakes of America, by the name of Roger Brooks Taney, who was the head of the Supreme White Supremacy Court, known as the Supreme Court. He said, when he ruled in the Dred Scott decision, he said that Negroes were not citizens of the United States of America, so therefore could not bring suit in federal court in the state of Missouri. That was handed down in the Dred Scott decision, 1857. Also, the same Roger Brooks Taney said in 1857, he says Negroes had no rights that a white man had to respect. He went on to say that Negroes were so far inferior that they should never, ever be allowed to associate with the white race. I dare them. They have the audacity, an uncivilized, inferior, psychopathic people going to make that claim against human beings whose ancestry is in ancient Egypt, in the continent of Africa, who brought civilization to the whole entire world, except they cannot be civilized because our ancestors have been trying to civilize them, like I said before, for 2,349 years, with this year of 2017, and they still are not civilized. So how dare you to make that claim that we, as a race of people, are inferior and should not be allowed to associate with white race? We should turn that around. White people are so inferior, they should never, ever be allowed to associate with an African, especially the descendant of ancient Egypt. So that's how we got into this predicament that we're in today. Now, to further prove that we are not citizens of this country. Now, if we were citizens of this country, Martin Luther King would be alive today because he fought be a citizen. He fought for justice, for us to be treated under a just government and a system. He fought for equality, meaning that he wanted us to be able to go into any restaurant or a hotel and be served as human beings. If we were citizens, Rosa Parks would never have been asked to give up her seat to a white man on the bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Never have. If we were citizens, why did they pass in this country in 19 64, the Civil Rights Bill, to give us some type of civil acceptance in this country as a people. Why, if we were citizens in this country, why were we given in 1965? Why did they give for one race of people pass a voting rights bill? Okay, that that gave us the right to vote. Okay, and just last year, Anton Scalia and Clarence Uncle Tom ass dismantled that voting rights bill. They took out Article 5 and they gave it back to the state. And you see what happened. So no, I right here at this very moment, I'm declaring that we, as a race of people, have not ever been a citizen of this country, and we never will, according to the United States Constitution. But what we have to do, since we live over here, we have to band together and do what we have to do in order to make it tolerable for us to live over here as human beings among uncivilized, savage Europeans. So that's what I have to say about that, Brother Tarhaka.
All right. Well, Dr. Walter Williams, we're going to get back and discuss this some more with you. And I'm going to hear from Brother Yoel again. And have a caller with his hand raised at area code 415. I'm going to open up this line and see who this is. Area code 415, could you tell us who you are and where you're calling from?
This is Emma McGowan calling from San Francisco.
All right. Dr. Williams, we do have her. I got me to write this number down, and I wrote it down. Okay, sister.
My goodness.
What's your take on it? What's your take on this thing?
What's my take?
Yeah, on why people of African descent born in America are not citizens.
Well, yeah, I don't know if citizenship is such a good thing anyway.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, because, you know what, I feel like the voting, it doesn't do any good anyway. They put who they want to in there.
Okay.
I mean, come on. No way. If the popular vote voted for Trump, didn't vote for Trump, and he got in, that should speak volumes to people. I know they tell you the electoral college vote. The way they explain it, they don't even understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, hey, maybe, and Walter did mention that chattel. We were chattels in the old England when they brought them. They constructed white women over here. They were also chattel. Don't forget that in old English law, women were chattel.
That's right. If women had rights, why did they have to march for rights if they already had them?
Right, there you go. See, a lot of people forget that. They didn't only and the poor. Oops, I almost said the poor. But anyway, the poor white man, he didn't have any rights either. He didn't have any.
Yeah.
He didn't have even enough to go to the polls and vote either. so you know what I'm saying, is it such a good thing? Because they're gonna put who they want to in there anyway. I don't care which one it is, and what they do is they put them in there and they control them anyway. They all puppets. I don't care. Ever since I've been paying attention to it, none of them have did what they tell the people they will do.
That's right.
Not one that I remember. Okay, so what's the point in voting for them anyway? Because, like I said, once they get in, they always got a bunch of secrets that they go hold over their head, and they go make them do what they want to. Congress and the United States, the President of the United States, does not run this country. Okay? They just for us to see with our eyes. That's it. This country is ran from afar, where we don't see these people. Okay? Now, I mean, maybe it sounds weird or whatever. People need to just think about it. I mean, just
I'm in agreement. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, the average person, they taking all these votes around and talking about they taking your rights away to vote. I'm saying let them waste their time because it's not doing us any good anyway.
Mhm.
What we need to do is start getting in our own communities, start loving each other, and stop criticizing each other so much. And come to an understanding that we can make our own citizens in our own neighborhood. We don't need to be citizens of the United States, as Walter calls them. I mean, really. I mean, to me, it's a waste of time. What we do, we always running after white man's stupid laws. There ain't nothing but a lewd assault on your wisdom. Come on now, people. That's what the law is.
Well,
because half of them, we shouldn't be going along with them anyway, because they really just for a few people. Okay? We don't make the average person, they just go to the bank. They make no decisions. Average white man on the street you may meet, and he call you all kind of names. What he does it because he has no dignity, rights of his own. He can't decide what Wall Street go do. He can't decide what banking system go do. He has nothing to do but follow the systems like everybody else. And you tell me he's superior when he's living. Oh yeah, they give him a better job. They give him that. That's to fool him into la la land. But when they practice on us, what they go do to them later on. Now you think about that one. They practice on us. And they can just wait to see. It's going to happen to them, too, which is happening right now. They want jobs, and a lot of them voted for Trump, thinking he can bring all those jobs back. Well, how come he got so many people in the How come he got so many people in his hotels and stuff that's immigrants? Why is his wife an immigrant? I mean, serious.
You got a point.
People need to wake up and think. I guarantee you, 95% of the people in his hotels is Mexican. He got his stuff overseas. He should have started his own stuff with his car company, his Ivana Trump. He should have had all that stuff brought back to the country. But he didn't. He talking about other people. What? Is it funny?
Brother, what you think about this?
Second of all, why they worried about Trump? You need to worry about yourself. And
you got it. You right. What you think, man?
Well, again, there's many angles that we can look at here in entertaining the question around why we are not citizens. But the saddest thing about it all is this, to me, is that you're not a rocket scientist, I don't think. Mr. Williams is not a rocket scientist, and Sister Emma is not a rocket scientist, and I'm definitely not. So how is it that 152 years later, of people as many as we are, who got all these brilliant people you call lawyers, you call judges, you call politicians, you call leaders, political scientists, and all of these other fields that really should have paid attention to this whole Dred Scott thing a long time ago and made it something that is definitely taught in the schools where black folks are taught and analyzed and critically analyzed to find out why did this man say what he said. Now we're 152 years later out of so-called slavery and some another form of slavery, and we thinking that emancipation is synonymous with freedom, and it's not. So my thing is, how come these people miss all these people who should have got this? Of course, we know lawyers and judges go to school, and they should have ran across some kind of definition or something on it, or either raised the question of why did Lincoln say emancipation instead of saying freedom proclamation proclaim freedom instead of proclaiming emancipation. That's very sad to me, you know, to find ourselves in this situation today, and then we entertaining that question, and we don't even know what emancipation means legally, that is, and neither do we know, as Emma alluded to, what citizenship. Do you even want to be a citizen here? If you know what that meant, and take it one more, citizen versus national. Well, you know, so which one of them would you want? And then state versus federal citizen. You know, all kinds of different types of so-called citizenship, but it hadn't been explained to us clearly what being a citizen mean in the country in the first place. They just allowed us to operate under the illusion that we are that, as long as they profited from the money from us. Now when we get to take a look back, as hindsight is 2020, we should be looking back at how these slave codes or black codes started to be created and why. Okay, because according to the Constitution that they when you look at that, and then they said, well, slavery was abolished. Well, that's the illusion. It was not really abolished like that. So therefore, we when we look back, we see that they were just really trying to set up something that entrapped us to black men, particularly back into slavery, to be workers in these prison industrial complexes we have today that they done privatized. So they start setting up these things in, and they became too obvious. So the federal government said, hey, y'all, open those states. We got to be a little bit more discreet than what y'all doing. Y'all creating some new rules, and it's looking a little bit like they still in slavery, and we got them already thinking they ain't it. So we all got to change them black codes.
Okay.
So here we are. You know, we brilliant folks, 3-4 brilliant folks on the phone here, you know, and nobody else has figured this out, and nobody's raised this. But I think, you know, according to what my brother, Mr. Jesse Jackson, has been pushing over the past 20+ years with voter rights bill, and he always sounds the alarm on making sure you call your congressman or your representative and tell him to make the president sign that voters' rights bill again. I'm pretty sure that brother, as brilliant as he is, he went back to ask the question, well, why do we got to do this anyway? Mm-hmm. Why are we the only people that have to sign this thing every 25 years? How do that man have to entertain this?
Yeah.
Now, why he didn't say anything about it, and why he didn't raise the issue of why? Because that's the cause. He didn't go back to the cause. He was just dealing with one of the symptoms from it, and he knows that he needs to go back to the cause and correct that in order to cure the symptoms that we're having from it. But he didn't. And all of those cronies who are also so-called leaders should know these things as well.
We don't need no leader.
Well, what I'm gonna have to do is take a little short break, and when I come back, we going down in this thing, and we gonna open up all the boxes tonight. We gonna open up we looking under the table, under the bed, we dragging stuff out, we getting in the corner in the closet. We gonna bring it all tonight. So y'all hold on. We go. I'll be right back. Y'all hold on. We're going to get down in this thing. We're only going to be gone just for a few minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, just hold on. We're listening to our illustrious guest, Dr. Walter Williams, Brother Yoel, and Sister Emma McGowan on the question, why people of African descent on America.
Open the door, baby. It's me. Come on, baby. Open the door. I know you hear me out here.
Man, I'm not letting you back in here to hurt me like you always do. You're scaring the children. I'm calling 911.
You better open the door.
Dad, leave my mommy alone. I'm leaving this man, and I'm going today. Soon as he goes to work, I
going away. I've been trying to hold on, but it ain't no use. I can't take no more of this spousal abuse.
Mommy, what's wrong with Daddy?
Apologize. Then came no respect, but still lips and swollen eyes. I've been trying to hold on, but it ain't no use. I can't take no more of this spousal abuse. I'm not going to be his punching bag. What he got will soon be what he has. Oh yeah, I'm not going to let him keep abusing me. See, I'm not into pain, and I'll never be. He says that he loves me, and he wants nobody else. I'd be damned if I'll stay here until he loves me to death. I'm afraid of the man. Oh, but that's no excuse for me to stay here.
All right. We are back.
Even children are no excuse for any woman out there today to live with abuse.
Mommy, please stop, Daddy.
My son says, Mommy, you're not being bad. So why is it that Daddy hits you? It feels so sad.
Daddy, leave my mommy alone.
I took him in my arms and said, baby, don't cry. Daddy won't hurt me no more, 'cause you and Mommy are going bye-bye. I've been holding on, but I tell you, it ain't no use. I'm getting out while I can from this spousal abuse. I'm not going to be. What he's got, it'll soon be what he had. I'm not going to let him. No. I'm not in the pain. And I tell you, I'll never be. Now I know that most men out there would never hit a woman, and I believe this to be true. So this is not about the many who don't, but it is about the few that do. And you know. No. Oh, I'm not going to be his punching bag. No. What he got will soon be what he had. I'm not gonna lie to him. Keep on abusing me.
All right, everybody. We are back, and we are dealing with the question of why people of African descent born in America are not citizens. And we'll be getting directly back into that in just a second, so y'all hold on.
You don't have to lose your home due to foreclosure. You don't have to worry about child support. You don't have to be in credit card debt. Have no fear. Tarhaka Armana El Bey is here at NewDebtElimination.com. Got student loans, child support, mortgages? Contact someone who's got the experience and the knowledge to get you back under God's law. That's Tarhaka Armana El Bey. He's been there, he's done that, and he can prove it. Just give him a call at 904-303-9061. That number again is 904-303-9061. And log on to newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com and get yourself free.
All right, we're back. Brothers and sisters, Dr. Walter Williams?
Yes.
What is your take on what Sister Emma said?
Well, I agree with Sister Emma. She's, in my opinion, is a profound thinker. And I am glad to be on because of her thinking ability. She's very deep. So that is my opinion about Sister Emma McGowan. I want to add this to the mix since we're on this subject. I have a dictionary, the Webster's Dictionary of 1957, and I was one day looking up a definition, and I ran across something that caught my eye in this particular 1957 edition of Webster's Dictionary, and that being the color line. And it says the color line. I said, oh, let me stop and see what this is about. So anyway, as I began to read the color line definition in Webster's Dictionary of 1957 edition, it says a barrier of political, social, and economic restrictions imposed upon Negroes and other colored races. It says, draw the color line and keep it. So here they have a definition that they put in Webster's Dictionary concerning on the things that they had done to us as a people, what they were continuing to do to us as a people. So they have put this definition out in public view in the dictionary. So therefore, when Tarhaka Amana El Bey, when Emma McGowan and Brother Yoel and myself came into this world as African people, we had 3 strikes against us right off the bat.
Okay.
So, that's one of the things I want to bring out. Also, I want to bring out in the New Catholic Encyclopedia about the majority race. There's an article in that particular encyclopedia about who was the majority in this country. It says the United States majority. Okay. What they're saying the majority is that whoever makes policies or who are able to change policy are in the majority. So your politicians and your president and whoever else is in authority to make a policy or change the policy, that's the majority. Then the second form of majority is the racial count in this country between white folks and Africans. So therefore, white folks is more in the majority by way of count than we Africans are. So I want to bring that out in the mix, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, now I got another question for you. Based on what little bit I did see, because today I had to cut on the TV, and I cut it on, and they had this thing with Donald Trump, and the whole nation is in an uproar. So my question for you is, in your opinion, how many people do you think don't want to get Donald Trump about what he's doing, number-wise?
Well, I would like to put that question to Sister Emma McGowan. She's in on the Trump situation as it stands today. Sister Emma, can you answer that?
Now, and I didn't quite understand the question.
Okay, we know based on what I've seen for the few minutes that I did see, it appears that the whole nation is in an uproar, and I want to know. I was saying, well, okay, what are you going to do now? And because I said, well, I'm not going to try to count all the people that is want to get a hold of him. I need to know how many don't. And that'll be a few numbers. Yeah. So I want to get your take on what's going on with the guy.
I don't think it's anything that I don't even worry. Like I said, why you go worry about Trump? The thing, what it is that people look at Trump for the first time in their existence. All people. And especially his kind. Okay? They looking at him and say, he's saying out loud what they've been thinking. And they realize how stupid it is and how stupid they are. They coming through an awakening. That's what it is. This is awakening for all Americans. And why you go worry about being a citizen of the United States? I am a citizen of the earth, which is bigger than the United States. And that's where a lot of people got to walk the earth, love the earth more, respect it, turn the TV off, start thinking and not let it think for you because there's those subliminal messages there. Okay? Plus, the Wi-Fi, they call it the Wi-Fi, the mobile phones and all that stuff. All that stuff got all of us engulfed in it. We need to put it off, use it for what it originally was intended for, to talk a few minutes to somebody and get off. If we do those things, sit quiet sometimes without having to be entertained all the time, the right stuff will come in your mind that you need to do. People don't know how powerful they are. Money is not power. It's a substance of exchange. That's it. People are not more powerful than you. I don't care if they got 10 Cadillacs and 500 buildings. They are no more powerful than you than you are. That's what you got to learn. You are a powerhouse. Just learn how to use it. It's all inside of you. Whatever answer you want to know, you go to sleep, put it in your mind, and cut your TV off and go in a deep sleep. I guarantee you will have the answer the next day, whatever that question is, whatever your meditation is. If it's running, if it's sitting in the school, if it's drinking a beer, maybe it's quiet time with you with that beer. But don't drink too many of them because now some other kind of entity go come into you. But anyway, see what I'm saying to you? Realize your own power. You see the police, you know he got a gun and all that. Fear, forget fear. Fear is your lowest vibration. And when you fear something, you go down and attract that kind of entity, which is called the police. Don't be scared of the police. I mean, you got to when you see him, send that man some love and energy. When you love something, your energy changes, and that's all we are anyway. And that's how we really communicate with each other. But when you see a cop and you get scared, it's like seeing a lion. Start going up, everything in your body going haywire. Stop doing it. Be the powerhouse that you are and that you was born to be. No man has dominion over another one unless you, as an individual, allow it.
Well, I'm in 100% agreement with that, sister. But I still have to continue to encourage my people to, you take the time out, you study, you rest, you get your proper rest, proper diet, proper exercise.
Right.
But make sure that sometimes, even if it ain't but once every 2 months, go to the woods or go out into the gun range and practice and stay sharp and stuff on your skills, and then come on back and go back to resting and relaxing and reading and writing and arithmetic. I just want to throw that in there.
Sometimes we need to just throw our feet down in the dirt and walk the dirt and let the toes in between dirt get in between the toes. You know,
that's right,
I mean, that's earth. That's letting us know your connection is with the earth. You tell yourself you love yourself every morning you wake up. Don't just get up and brush your teeth and run out the house to that job. Get up and say, I love you, whatever your name is. See, don't you start vibrating a little bit different in the world, not only with yourself, but in the world. Because then you'll learn to vibrate that love to a lot of things and the people around you and not around you. It changes the world, and that's what we need to do. That's what the people are all about Trump. Because Trump is they saying, don't hate. We don't want to do that. We don't want to go around hating people because now they see it affects them in a very negative way.
Well, let me ask
we have
Brother
12 chakras. Huh? Okay.
Go ahead. You finna tell us about the chakras? Hold up, Brother Yoel. Go on, girl, with them chakras.
I'm saying I go tell the people about the chakras because I want them to seek them for themselves. There's 12 chakras, seven inside the body and 5 outside the body. Check them out. Mm-hmm. That's your powerhouse, the chakras.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned walking on the ground. And what a lot of people don't understand about people of African descent, we are electric. Now, inside, just like you have an automobile, and I had to explain this to the feds. I said, first of all, inside a car, you got a generator. That generator have carbon brushes that spin around copper wiring. That's what generates electricity. I say a natural man, any electrical circuit has to be grounded. This ground that we standing upon, the concrete and the asphalt and stuff, and then above our head we got electrical wiring, so we're being short circuited and not grounded. And so they tried to switch the conversation to diet. And I want to know if I eat biscuits. I said, I'm not a biscuit eater. And then they started mentioning pork. I said, okay, it's time for the conversation to get cut short now because y'all coming with all kind of crazy. But anyway, Brother Yoel.
Yes, sir.
You want to weigh in on this
one? Let me just say that what we're saying is just surface material here. One, in order for one to really intelligently understand what's going on here, they'd have to look at the purpose and the nature and the origin of what we're talking about. And if we're talking about freedom or slavery, or whether we should be citizenship, we need to look at the nature and the purpose and the origin of this and where this comes from. It's easy to say what we're saying right now, but the people who are listening to us can't do anything with the words that we're saying right now, except for they may know this, but then they don't know what the first step is to actually making everybody else acknowledge this. You know, I mean, in other words, that there's a process to this. There's some paperwork involved in this thing here. Like you do, your process that you got with debt elimination. That's a process. You can say those words to people, but they don't know what to do with that. Just because you said it don't mean that they know what to do, because when it comes to debt elimination, you have to show them the paperwork and how to go about this process that you have that they can use to put themselves in a position to eliminate that debt, right?
That's right.
Is that right? Okay, so
that's absolutely correct.
What we're talking about here is just opening the can here, but it's a lot more. It's a lot of paperwork that needs to be dealt with respect to putting the whole world, or wherever you at in your state or the rest of this country here on notice as to who you are and what your position or your status is. And that's what we really need to know right there. But that seems to be, that depends on who you're talking to and how much they want to charge you for that, or how much time an individual has to put into reading and learning and studying and trying to figure out what they need to do in order to put themselves in a position to be labeled free men and women. But you gotta want that. Some people think that they got freedom right now. Emancipation is all right with them, all right. As long as they got their own little private horse and buggy called a car, and they got their own private slave quarters that they call their house, a home, then they're satisfied. And they can go to the store and get whatever they want when they want to. And they got their plastic little cards that they can go and get whatever they want with. Some people are comfortable with this. They ain't interested in it. It looks like it's close enough to freedom to them, so they ain't interested in freedom. But for those who are interested in not wanting to die in this country still in the position of slavery, you're going to want to do a lot more than that, and that process is what we need to know right there.
All right. Well, let me help you out with that one, because this is what I deal with on a regular basis. First of all, and this is what I do, and every single day when it comes to people that have debt problems and they want to know about the secured party and they want to know about the creditor, the first thing that you have to understand is the magnitude of the situation that we are in. So, therefore, the first thing that you do is the same thing that I've been telling people over and over and over and over again. You want to, and here we go, one more time. You want to learn everything you could possibly learn about yourself, your culture, and your ancient story. There's one that supersedes anything you're talking about being, about dealing with debt, about dealing with a secured party, about dealing with a creditor. This supersedes it all, because that is where your power lies. Because if you got that down to a science, it supersedes everything that you can start putting in when we get down to the part about the documents, because a lot of people got this thing about the documents. Well, I need to start doing it. I need to sign this here, and I need to file this, and I need to. No. Hold on. We're going to get to that. But you want to spend a great deal of time learning everything that you can possibly learn. The stuff that Dr. Walter Williams is telling us about the Egyptians and the books and stuff that he's wrote, we need to know that. What happened during slavery, we need to know that. What happened in Egypt, we need to know that. What happened in Spain, we need to know it for a fact until it can roll off our lips, and because that makes you powerful. I had a situation one time where on the job that I was working on, we had some folks on there that was accusing me of hating white people. I said, man, what are you hating white people? And one of the chief engineers, he was standing there, a Caucasian gentleman. I said, hey, man, I said, why are you insulting me? And the Caucasian, he jumped in and he said, well, how is it that you being accused of hating white people is an insult to you? I said, I'm glad you asked that question. And by the time I get through, you tell me. I said, I descended from the greatest people who ever walked the faces of this earth. I said, it is us who brought civilization and the light to the world. Everywhere we ever went throughout the history of our people, we were a blessing. I say, I am the golden goose that's laying the golden eggs. And for me to be accused of hating you, I have to consider that as an insult because of who I am and where I came from and the ancient story of my people. I said, now on the other hand, let's take a look at you and see if you are qualified to even be hated by me in the first place. And before I could get it all out here, all right, I've heard enough. I don't want to hear I said, hold on, I ain't through. Because I'm going to get to the part about the black deaths of Europe compared to what happened in Spain. We introduced bathing and created over 200 public baths so any man could walk off the street and take a bath, and then y'all turn around and outlaw bathing. So now you tell me whether or not it's an insult for me to be accused of hating you. That's an insult. By the time I got through talking, there were very few people out there to hear it, especially among my own people, because they were ashamed. They never heard nothing like that. And they, man, them people gonna fire you. I said, no, they ain't. I said, they probably will eventually will, but they won't look me in the eye no more. Because knowing who you are supersedes any and everything that you're going to do on paper. Once you got that down, now you're officially ready to start signing documents. And the problem is we've been having other people contracts sent to us. The United States and the United States of America does not interfere with your right to make contract. The problem is we've been accepting everybody else's contract. As soon as somebody pushes some paper in front of you and tell you to sign here, you sign it. You don't read nothing. So you have to start formulating your contracts and pushing them on the other side of the table. That's how you do that. If somebody sent me a letter in the mail claiming I owe some debt, that's an offer. I'm going to accept your offer. Here's a counter offer. This counter offer is not negotiable. And I need you to rebut this in a certain length of time. If you don't do that, you're in default. This is how contract law works. All mortgages in America is illegal. Ain't no money. If you filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1933, there is no money. You made it against the law to use real money, silver and gold to pay for things. So everything has to operate on contract. You're either a debtor or a creditor. You're in that position because you allow it or you stop it. And you learn who you are, and now you're officially ready to start dealing with this thing. But that's step one. Step two, master contracts. Step three, know who you are and how to enforce the contracts that you write. That's how that goes, Brother Yoel.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Okay. Yes, sir. And see, that's
how I do it. Yeah. But you know how we is. Well, I just want to hurry up and get rid of. No. We ain't being in a hurry. You want instant gratification. You can't do that, and especially if you're talking about being a secure party. I got a friend. I was on the phone with him today. This brother, get rid of debt and all that in and went all past all that right there. He buy $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 home. He buy cars, give them away. He buy Rolls Royces, antiques, they give it away. He has the power to do that. And he's a real good friend of mine. He just haven't been too long. Left from down here. Me and him spent 3 days down here, and he told me I want to go down to South Florida to buy a Rolls Royce. I said, what you want with a Rolls Royce? I said, you ain't no Rolls Royce man. I said, if you buy a Rolls Royce, you can do it, but give it away because you just like me. You like a Euro Chevrolet. But anyway, I've been I talked to him today, and the brother's so powerful. They have actually tried to kill him 3 times, and they missed all 3 times. He's the kind of man that when he comes to town, if he walk into a courtroom, everything shut down. The sight of him, just when you know he's coming, everything changes. And this brother here, I mean, he walk in a bank and do a few things on paper and walk out there. Do anything you want to do. Take a card and say, man, very, very powerful brother, very, very good friend of mine.
Well, we're gonna have to talk
I ain't
about
call
that
his name.
Huh? I said you're gonna have to introduce me to that man. I want to know all y'all bad fellas like that. Then.
Well,
okay.
When you start doing, because see, this stuff right here that I'm talking about, this stuff right here has been around for years. The Rockefeller has been doing it. The DuPont, the Getty, all that's what they do. Because see, in the first place, most of us, we think that we get some money, we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna buy this, that, and all that's in the public. If you could take a dollar bill, take a magnifying glass, and look at that dollar bill, you don't see the word money on it nowhere. And the reason why, because it ain't money, it's debt. And there are things in place inside the United States for you to operate on. The Uniform Commercial Code is the Bible of business. Now, you take, and I'll give you a scenario. Think about this for a minute. I'm a man. I'm not married. I got children. I set up a trust. Okay. Next question is, what kind of trust you gonna set up? I say, okay. Well, I'm gonna set up a irrevocable express trust. All right. That means that I'm gonna create this as the grantor, but in order for this thing to function, I'm gonna have to have trustees. The trustees are gonna be the one that orchestrate all the business. They're gonna handle everything. I can point and say, well, look, I want that building right there. Okay, we're gonna go to work. We're gonna do all the paperwork, make sure it's functional, make sure you got it and all this right here. And the reason why all this is happening is to benefit the beneficiaries, which are the children. Everything that's done in this trust is to benefit the beneficiaries, which are the children. Now, all of us have a birth certificate. This birth certificate and your name in all capital letters is a trust. Problem is, somebody else is administrating your trust. So what you're going to have to do is gain control of that trust. And when you gain control of the trust, then you set it up where you are the orchestrator of the trust. Because right now, what they're doing is they're building highways and bridges and paying the police and paying all these folks out of your trust. Everything in America operates on contract. Your job is to turn it around so you can start creating contracts and sending the contracts the other way. But you get control of the trust. On the front of your Social Security card is your Social Security number. That's what it benefits as a beneficiary of the trust, the lowest man on the totem pole. But once you get the knowledge, then you turn that sucker on the backside, you get the numbers that's associated with the bond, and you start orchestrating the bond. You collapse that, and they got to give you every dime that they ever took from you from credit. Man, I don't want to go down in all of this here tonight, but anyway, that's the gist of what I be doing over here.
Right.
And if I'm wrong, Donald Trump can come over here and tell me I'm wrong. And bring the Pope, because he's going to need him. But anyway, let me open up the lines again. And with Brother Walter Williams and Sister Emma McGowan. Dr. Williams, I know we got off on but come on in, bro.
On your favorite subject.
Okay, well, anyway, I agree with you, Brother Tarhaka, when you said that one has to know themselves. Imhotep, our African ancient Egyptian ancestor, Imhotep, who's the father of medicine, said, know thyself. And it's very important that we, as an individual human being, know who we are as a human being, what we was born with, coming out of our mother's womb. That's where you start. That's the first place you start. You have to know something about your own self in order for you to go forward into the world and learn other things that's in the world around you and know the past history in order for you to know what to do at the present moment. You cannot know what to do at the present moment until you learn what happened in the past. So, know thyself is very important. Knowing thyself is knowing that your mother and your father are your creators. Your father is your God, and your mother is your goddess. Mm-hmm. They both had a sexual encounter one day, and your father's sperm impregnated your mother's egg, and also the process of the 9 months of incubation that caused you, human, to come into this world as a human being. So without your mother and father having that sexual intercourse and your father's sperm impregnating your mother's egg, then you and I would not be here. So therefore, that's the first thing you have to know. After coming out of your mother's womb, after being incubated for 9 months, you were attached to her umbilical cord. That umbilical cord that came from your mother's being and attached to you as a baby after the results of 9 months of incubation, that umbilical cord brought food, air, and water during that 9 months of incubation so you can grow as a human being. And once that that umbilical cord was cut to separate you from your mother, you had life still flowing through your body as a result. So therefore, all humans, you have 7 billion humans walking this earth as human beings. All humans have what I call an indwelling, divine, spiritual birthright. That's the life spirit that's flowing inside of you at this very moment that I'm talking. So you need to know that. Now, as a human being, all humans have a pineal gland. The pineal gland is a sensor organ that sits in the middle of your brain. It serves as a receiver between you, the human being, and your personal universe. Your personal universe. Your personal universe is your mind. The bottom of your pineal gland are your nostrils that take air to your personal universe and keep you in consciousness as being a live human being. So therefore, 7 billion humans have the same attributes that you and I have. And if I cut your head open, I can see your brains, but I cannot see your mind. It's invisible. It's air. All 7 humans walking this earth, including animals, including vegetation, including everything that's alive. Everything that's alive is kept together by air. Air is very, very powerful. Without air, you and I would not be here. Without air, animals would not be here. Without air, vegetation will die, and so forth and so on. So air is very important. That's how we all are kept together. Now, you need to know the function of your universe that you are living in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. In your universe, you can create anything that you want to create. You can change anything that you want to change. So, like Sister Emma was saying, the power is within you, and that's your power within you, given to you at the time of your birth. And you and all humans have what is called a subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind and your conscious mind works together. They interact with each other. Your conscious mind is where you store things that you want to keep, so you can retrieve at a time when you need to retrieve what you put into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is located in your abdomen, where the same area where your mother carried you for 9 months. So these are some of the things that you need to know about your own humanity. So therefore, I agree with you when you said the first thing you need to know is something about yourself. Now, once you learn that, then you can move on to other things. Now, we, as a race of people living in the continent of Africa, living in America, from the continent of Africa, there are 44 to 50 million of us living over in this hemisphere of North America. We are under the name of an identity that we agreed to call ourselves. And that agreed name is black. Black is a color. Okay? So now, you mean tell me 44 or 50 million Africans living over here are under the name of a color? I mean, who are you? Well, black is a name that is synonymous with Negro. Negro and black is one and the same, a name given to us by the Spanish. So you mean to tell me you're going to let some other people name you? And you're going to use that name out of ignorance? You don't know any better? So therefore, who are you? We as an African people have to have a nationality. We don't have a nationality under the name Black, Negro, and African Americans. Okay? Those are descriptions. Those that name black is a color. So where on the world map can I pick out black land? Where on the world map can I pick out Negro land? Where on the world map can I pick out African American land? It doesn't exist. Only among the 44 or 50 million Africans living in this country, because they've been misled, miseducated, uneducated, away from their own nationality. Okay? That's the reason why, as I see, ancient Egypt is unclaimed in the continent of Africa, because the descendants of the ancient Egyptians has been taught away from that on purpose. You see? So therefore, we don't have no nationality to identify ourselves. So therefore, whatever we create, we don't attach that creation to the nationality that by us knowing who we are, we don't attach what we create to that nationality. You see? So we give away all of our creations. And when we go to these churches, sitting in the pews of a church, we give away all of our power, like Sister Emma was talking about, the power that we have within us. We give it all away, sitting in the pews of a church, worshiping a dead white man on a cross. They call Jesus the Christ, the icon, the image, and the symbol of white supremacy and white identity is institutionalized in all Christian churches throughout America and throughout the world. And that symbol of white supremacy is that dead white man on that cross, that we as a people go in to and sit in these pews of these churches and give away all of our power. So therefore, we are a powerless people. Then we allow our children to be educated in the school system created by the Europeans. So if the Europeans didn't treat us right, what makes you think they're going to teach us right? They're not going to teach you right because they haven't treated you right. And they don't have no intentions of teaching you who you are. Okay? So therefore, you have to come on away from the school system and begin to self-school yourself. Tarhaka, Amana El Bey, self-schooled himself. You didn't learn what you know in a school. School didn't teach you that. Same thing you school is the alphabet. You learn how to be literate, like learning the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so forth and so on. So therefore, you learn literacy, how to use that alphabet to read with, to write with, and to spell with. Okay? Now, your thinking, they don't teach you how to think in school because you are in a system. That system has a curriculum all designed and created for you for your so-called learning. So you don't learn anything in school. Very few things. Everything that I know, everything that Sister Emma know, everything that Brother Yoel know, everything that Brother Tarhaka know, you had to learn on your own, away from school. Okay? So therefore, each and every one of us have self-taught our own selves to the point where we are at this very moment in our thinking. So therefore, what you said, I agree with. You have to know who you are, and I'll add this. We have to have a nationality in order for us as a people to unify around. Okay? You cannot unify around black, Negro, and African American. That's a description and a color. So therefore, at the Smithsonian Institute, they have this African American Museum of African American culture and history. Misleading, because they're telling the world and they're telling us as a people that our history started with slavery. And they have a great big old slave ship there on display to enhance what they're trying to put over and continue to put in place in your mind as a people that you are descendants of slaves. Okay? No, we are descendants of the greatest people that has ever walked this earth as a human being, known in history as the ancient Egyptian. If our children knew that, you'll see a different race of people out here on the streets today. If they knew their ancestors were the ancient Egyptians who brought civilization to all of mankind, then white supremacy will fall flat on its face. White supremacy wouldn't even be able to live or survive because your children, our children, that we teach them that you come from the greatest people that has ever walked this earth, known in history as ancient Egyptian. And that little boy and that little girl in the school, they have their chest be poked out, and they'll be walking around proud because they know who they are, and nobody can tell them anything different. They are descendants of the greatest people that have ever walked this earth in human form by the name of the ancient Egyptian. And that's what I have to say about that, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you said, Brother Tarhaka.
All right. Well, Dr. Williams, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at, before I bring Sister McGowan and Brother Yoel back, we're going to take a look at this thing for a few minutes from the other side of the fence that will let people know what we are facing and what we're up against. So if y'all would just sit tight for a minute, we will be right back, okay?
From the time...
Here's my worthless laundry. This boy is worthless. Here's my worthless license to practice law. Worthless. And here's my worthless computer science degree. Also worthless. That's the value of education.
If somebody were graduating from high school today and wanted to know whether they should go to college, I would say they should run, not walk, away from college. Because the industrial age doesn't have long to go. There's no way that I would encourage somebody to go 4 years or more to undergraduate school, rack up a bunch of debt, and learn a bunch of nonsense that isn't going to do them any good when there's no fuel at the filling station, no food at the grocery store, and no water coming out of the municipal taps. Well, why would you go to college to go into a huge amount of debt to get nothing in return, not even something that might facilitate your survival, much less your ability to thrive? So at this point, at this late era in the industrial economy, I wouldn't encourage anybody to go to college. It hasn't been a very good deal for quite a while. and it certainly is a really bad deal now.
I confer upon you the degree for which you have worked so hard, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto. Congratulations.
As fast as college tuition costs are rising, the value of a college degree is declining even faster. The youth in America today need to be taught to think for themselves and realize that there is no value to having a college degree if everyone else has one.
I was in the student union where graduation was about to take place, and they had a series of plaques on the wall. And they listed all the students who had graduated with a 4.0 grade point average. And the first plaque had, all the plaques were basically full of names. But the first plaque had the first 50 or 60 years of the university represented. To fill that plaque with the 20 or so names on it required 50 or 60 years of higher education. Of course, in the most recent 5 years, there are multiple plaques for every year. We're churning out 4.0 students at the rate of a couple hundred a year. That used to mean something. If you're the only person that in the first 40 years of the history of the institution have a 4.0, that's meaningful. Now everybody's a 4-point student. Our standards have fallen so profoundly that anybody with a heartbeat can get a 4-point average. It's just absurd.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported in April of last year that as of October 2009, 70.1% of 2009 high school graduates were enrolled in colleges or universities, an all-time high since they began keeping this statistic, and up from 68.6% of 2008 high school graduates enrolling into college. In other words, there is no longer anything special about a college degree in America if 70% of everybody else is also attending college to receive one. NIA is working hard to ensure that it will soon become common knowledge in the U.S. that a college degree gives you no advantage over the rest of the population. When Americans finally learn the truth, the college bubble in America will burst.
College enrollment has been increasing really since the late 80s. But what kind of is an unknown secret is since 1992, the majority of college graduates, 60% of them, were in positions that the BLS considered low scale and typically did not require a high school education. For example, 20% of all the new waiter and waitressing positions created since 1992 have been filled by college graduates.
Of the 29.9% of recent high school graduates not in college, 70% of them were able to successfully find jobs without a college degree. These Americans are already building important workforce experience, which NIA considers to be far more valuable than any piece of paper. By comparison, only 42.1% of recent high school graduates in college have a job. And most of these are part-time jobs where the students are building very little workforce experience. The 57.9% of students in college without jobs, not only are they wasting their savings and getting deeply into debt for a worthless piece of paper, but they are losing out on valuable income they could have been earning during those 4 years. One of the greatest myths in America today that is used to scam Americans into overpaying to attend college is that college graduates make more money in their lives than Americans without college degrees, and therefore a college degree is a great investment. According to studies from biased organizations like the College Board, Americans with college degrees will earn $1 million in additional income over their lifetime compared to high school graduates with no college degrees.
You know that college graduates earn $1 million more on average than those without a degree?
Graduates from four-year colleges earn nearly an estimated $1 million more.
Most colleges and universities in America use this $1 million in additional income statistic to hype and sell their product. It has been repeated so many times that it's just about been accepted by all with nobody questioning its validity. However, for any student thinking of attending college, they need to consider the facts surrounding this number and compare it to the true cost of attending college. With the cost of annual college tuition now at $27,293, if we assume continued 5.15% college tuition inflation over the next 4 years, the average cost for a student entering college now to receive their bachelor's degree in 4 years will be $117,900. Therefore, even with the current college inflation crisis, an expenditure of $117,900 on the surface seems like a good investment if the return will be $1 million. The secret truth is, most college students do not receive their degree in 4 years. The Americans who are earning $1 million more in their lifetimes are actually spending an average of 6 years in college before receiving their degrees. Therefore, assuming continued 5.15% college tuition inflation for years 5 and 6, the total cost for the average student's degree in order to earn their $1 million in extra income will be $186,349. For those who borrow that full amount and pay it back over 10 years at a 6% interest rate, the additional interest expense would be $61,914, bringing the total cost of the degree up to $248,263. Then you need to consider the matter of lost income. The average high school graduate who finds an entry-level job without a college degree earns $35,400 per year over the first 6 years. For the majority of college students who don't have jobs, they are losing $212,400 in income over their 6 years in college. Combining the expected cost to attend college for 6 years with potential interest expenses and lost income, and now we are at a total cost of $460,663, all for the hope of earning an extra $1 million over a lifetime. Another important fact is, all of the reports that show $1 million in extra income for college graduates over high school graduates include students who receive GEDs as being high school graduates. Most GED recipients weren't motivated enough to graduate high school and therefore shouldn't be included in these statistics as real high school graduates. NIA believes GED recipients are unfairly skewing down high school graduates' average incomes. Also, the simple truth is, some Americans are just more motivated than others to make money and have successful careers. Somebody who wants to earn a high income usually goes to college because they have been suckered into believing it offers them the greatest ability to do so, whereas most Americans who don't attend college don't have as strong a desire to have a successful career. 95% of college graduates interviewed by NIA with annual incomes above $200,000 tell us that their college degrees had absolutely nothing to do with their business success. In fact, of these same people...
All right, we back. I think that's enough. I'm going to go over here to Sister Emma and see what she thinks about this thing here. Are you with us, Sister?
I'm here. About the school?
All right. Oh, yeah.
You know what? School, let me just say this. School, and I've been saying it way a long time, but people looked at me like I was crazy. I'm saying school, the schools as they are set up is the worst thing a black or any minority person can go to. I'm going to just tell you the truth. Because what it does, it teaches you to dislike yourself. Because, like I tell people, how many things are in those grades about you except slavery or some the only thing in that is teaching you about white supremacy. Even if they have black names, they might have, if they have George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, whatever. but they don't have, unless they changed it, okay? They don't have anything in there to inspire you. I mean, serious. And I've been saying that to people all the time. I'm saying, what is in there? Maybe we get a paragraph or two. We may get a chapter. When I was going to school, we didn't get a chapter. So I'm saying, what's the point? You know, people that need a job need to go to school. People that know how to hustle and make things happen on their own, they don't necessarily have to go. And that's, you know, I'm saying school, no, that's, you know, and it really teaches you not to think, okay? Because what you do is you get in, you know, I went to college. I got 4 years of psychology, and I said, you know what, I wouldn't practice that on a cat, okay? Because I know it's both.
Okay.
I'm serious. And you know what? Let me just say this. You go to school for what? I don't know. I don't know too many white people that are free too. I don't know too many white people that has freedom. I've not met one that was free. I've not met one yet in my life that was free. And you saying, oh, she got to be crazy. Just think about it. No matter what your title is in this country, you are a slave, because the man get his money before you get yours in most cases when you have a job. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
You know what, sister? and what I want y'all to do for me is, because I've seen a handful of them that were free, and just a handful. And I'm going to tell you where they at. When you go, you come on down here to Florida, go through Miami, go out the back door of Miami, and go to Florida City, and then go to Coconut Grove. It's a handful of them. You want to see 16, 17, 18-year-old children driving $200,000 and $300,000 Ferraris and get Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and stuff. Then you can see them. They're down here. So you got a few of them. But based on what you're telling me, you're absolutely correct. Brother Yoel.
Yes, sir.
You want to weigh in on this education thing, man? Let me have it.
Yeah, man. You know I do, man.
Man, you know I'm country. Leave me alone, man.
Hey, you just remind me of home. I didn't tell you that before I landed in this so-called Illinois state. I was in Mississippi state, okay?
Okay, well then you know my country. You know our country.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, I'm a country boy myself.
Okay.
Well, my thing is this: if you go to school and you train your children to go to school and get what you call a so-called education, make sure you preface that by saying to them that you're going to school to get this education you got here, because this is the system that they got us in. You need it in order to navigate through it. Then yes, do that. But it's not the criteria by which you measure one's intelligence by. Okay, because grandma didn't have an education, but she ran a family. She raised a family, and in some cases they did business and did other things that they didn't go to school and get taught to do that. Okay. But they did more than, in fact, more than some are doing today, okay, without that education. So Carter G. Woodson, in his book, basically, it is something that we need to really go back and take a look at, because, you know, when he made the statement and when he wrote the book, in Miseducation of the Negro, and then he talked about how the aim was to control an individual's thinking process, and you know that this precious school system that we got here of socially, it was borrowed from the German precious system, and it was an idea that came from there on how to brainwash a group of people at one time. So therefore, hence we got an education system here. In fact, the National Education Association is not government; it is private. People don't know that. But Carter G. Woodson went a little bit farther in one of his other books, than Miseducation of the Negro. We call it the history of the Negro, and we went on to say in that book that complimented the miseducation of the Negro, he said that the rich philanthropists of his day did not create the educational institutions because they were concerned over the illiteracy of the Negro, but rather they wanted the Negro to automatically do what they wanted them to do. The question then becomes, what is it that they want us to automatically do, and what is it in this education that's going to make us automatically do it? So that's what we need to be analyzing right there and figuring out that, so we know how not to do what they automatically want us to do. But by the time, my theory right now is that by the time you go through it and you brainwashed into thinking that degree makes you intellectually brighter or open to be to speak, or because somebody else don't have a degree and they can't say nothing because they ain't got no degrees, then you were one of what they called in these old songs back in the day, an educated fool from an uneducated school. So that's not the yardstick by which you measure an individual's intelligence by, okay? And even for those people who also read the Bible, and I done went by that book, I was raised that, so that book says intelligence according to man is foolishness according to God. So what is it that you really got? And really, did you even get educated? You got school. You didn't get educated, because the word in etymology of the word education means edu, means to draw out from. Draw out from. In other words, what they gave us didn't draw out of nothing, out anything from us, within inside of us. Okay? So you got school, which means in reality you got food. And that's what I have to say about that. But let me digress back to that other subject again for a minute, that slavery thing or that citizen thing. Black Law's Dictionary, as you know, is the Bible for the judges and lawyers in the legal world. Now, the 9th edition of that has a definition that you need to pay particularly back to the definition of slavery in the 9th edition. Now, it gives you the definition of slavery, but it attaches a quote to that definition. Now, they wouldn't attach that quote to that definition unless it has some significance or some strong bearing on the definition. Okay? Now, just to tell you what it says it defines slavery as, without reading the whole definition, it says slavery is a situation in which one person has absolute power over the life, fortune, and liberty of another. Now, underneath that, though, it says, and this is a quote by a Jethro Lieberman, who was a constitutional lawyer. He says slavery was a big problem for the Constitution makers. Those who profited by it insisted on protecting it. They insisted on protecting it. Now, listen to me carefully. Those who loathed it dreaded even more the prospect that to insist on abolition would mean that the Constitution would die aborting, which means aborting means before it could get started. Then it says, so the framers reached a compromise. Listen to this part carefully now. Framers reached a compromise of a sort. The word slave and slavery would never be mentioned, but the Constitution would safeguard the peculiar institution from the abolitionists. Well, did you hear that?
Wait a minute.
It said that they wouldn't mention the word slave and slavery. It says the word slavery and slavery. The word slave or slavery would never be mentioned, but the Constitution would safeguard the peculiar institution from the abolitionists. In other words, they would give you, they'll do a sleight of hands and give you something that looks like freedom, but ain't freedom. So therefore, the abolitionists are satisfied because it looks like there's no more slavery. And the people who profited by slavery, the constitutional makers who had slaves, would still have their thing in place. Now, I say to you, why did they put that man's words to that definition in that book? They're letting you know right there that they done slipped or whatever and told you more than they should be telling you right there. In other words, your Constitution covered it up, made it look like it was slavery, it was abolished, and it wasn't.
Well, all right.
Now, I could be wrong.
Bring Dr. Walter Williams in. Now, hold on. We're going to bring the doctor in on this. Dr. Williams?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Brother
Did you
Tarhaka.
hear that?
I heard what he said, and yes, sir, and it's very, very eye-opening. So it reminds me, going back to that worthless document that they call the United States Constitution. A worthless piece of paper that was drawn up in 1787. And they have amendments attached to that worthless document called the United States Constitution. Joel reminded me of how they covered up words by words to keep you enslaved and keep you with an illusion that you are going to be free or that you are free. And that amendment or amendments are the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. The 13th Amendment, the Emancipation Proclamation, drawn up January 1, 1863, to abolish so-called slavery. But it didn't do that, okay? That same document or amendment to that document, which we call the Constitution, that same amendment was adopted and not enforced. You see? So there are some words up there that was never enforced, but just adopted. Move a little further on that Constitution. Go to the 14th Amendment. The first article of the 14th Amendment says a person born or naturalized in the United States of America is thereby a citizen of this country due to the protection of all the laws in this country. But the fifth article said that the first article cannot be ratified unless it goes through congressional legislature and signed off.
Okay.
That was done. But in 1870, that's when they did it, it was adopted and never enforced. That's the reason why they had to give us in 1964, one race of people, a bill known as the Civil Rights Bill. So therefore, if the 14th Amendment was not an illusion and didn't mean anything, was just worthless, some words put on a worthless document called the United States Constitution, then why did one race of people, they had to pass a Civil Rights Bill in 1964. So we as an African people living in the United States of America have some type of rights to go to a hotel and restaurants and use a public accommodations like other so-called people or citizens living in this country. Then the 15th Amendment, which is the voting rights. It says, the first article says the same thing. A person born or naturalized in this country, the United States of America, has a right to vote, etc., etc., etc. But in 1870, that was not enforced. It was adopted. So worthless words put on a worthless document to give you, us, as African people in this country, an illusion of freedom according to the United States Constitution. So he is absolutely right. And getting back to the school system, when I was about 8 years old, right here in Chicago, on 51st and Wabash, Farron School, they gave me a book called Little Black Sambo. Little Black Sambo in this book was a African boy who took the tiger by the tail and went around and around and around a tree until both turned to butter. Now, this is supposed to be my history, our history as a people. See? So that's the form of putting in my mind that I am inferior and that they are superior, and they gave that book to the little white child in the same grade, same age, to make him feel superior over us as a people. So it is all set up which on the foundation. The school system is set up like other institutions in this country. It's set up on the foundation of white supremacy, and that's what it's about. But when they gave me the book, Little Black Sambo, I'm 8 years old, and I began to think. I said to myself, 8-year-old child, saying, we as a people, an African people, have to be better than this. We are better than this. I kept saying that all through my growing adolescent age up into high school and so forth and so on, into adulthood. You see, so I knew there was something that made us better than what they were giving me in school, and what they give me in newspaper articles about Africa. In the Tribune, Chicago Tribune, every first Sunday of the month, they would have a magazine section in there, and most of the times they had pictures and story about Africans. The pictures that they showed in this magazine section of Africans is the ones with big, fat, saucer-type lips, face cut up, face painted, bones through their nose, bones in their earlobes, wearing a skirt to hide their genitals, barefooted with a spear. And I said, well, no, something's got to be to us greater than that. And I had that in my mind. I kept growing with that in my mind until I met a man. I became a musician. I started playing the saxophone at 15 years old. And by the time I got out of high school, I met a man by the name of Sun Ra, the musician. And he was old enough to be my father. And all the young guys used to come around him. I was in my late teens, going into my early adulthood. And he told us that we were descendants of the greatest people that has ever walked this earth, known in history as the ancient Egyptians. And I didn't realize what he had told us. I put it into my subconscious mind, but it didn't hit me. It didn't just grab me. I heard what he said. So when I was 44 years old, my wife and I went on a trip to Italy because her sisters, 3 of her sisters, work at Illinois Bell Telephone Company. And the Illinois Bell Telephone Company was offering a very low fare to go on a trip to Italy for 10 days. So my wife and I, we hooked onto that. And while riding the Rome bus in Italy, I'm 44 years old, 1975, and over the intercom system, the tour guide says when the Romans went to Egypt to receive their civilization, a light went on inside of me. Ping! Like a 1,000-watt light bulb lit up. And I said to myself, I was told when I was in my late teens, going into my adulthood, that we as an African people were descendants of the greatest people that's ever walked this earth, known in history as the ancient Egyptians by Sun Ra. So I said, when I get back to America, I will get me a magnifying glass, and every ancient Egyptian pictorial book that was depicting ancient Egyptians in there, I want to look in their face and make sure that they look like me, you and all of us living in America as Africans. And once I was convinced of that, I was on my way. And I opened up an ancient Egyptian museum. I wrote books and so forth and so on. So anyway, I began to teach on the college level about ancient Egyptian history, and in the elementary school level for 3 years about ancient Egyptian history and so forth and so on.
Okay.
So I've been on that quest for 44 years now. So it is very important that we have an education, yes, but we also, it's very important to know who our ancestors are so we can have a nationality that will enable us to unify around a national point of reference by way of knowing and going to the world map of human geography to pick out where our ancestors came from. Very important that we know that. And if we know that, then the school system can't give our children some damn Black Sambo books. Our system cannot miseducate us like Carter G. Woodson said. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. If he's been trained to go to the back door of a building, upon arriving at the back of a building, if he doesn't find a door, he will make one because he's used to and he's been trained to go to the back door and find the back door. So education is very detrimental to us because, again, like I said before, if the European did not treat us right, what makes you think that he's going to treat us right? What makes you think he's going to do that? And William A. Bennett, who used to be the education czar in America, once said, to be ignorant of history is to be intellectually defenseless. In other words, you cannot defend yourself because you don't know any history about your own ancestors. Okay? So therefore, you don't know no history about your nationality. You cannot go to the world map and pick out where you came from, talking about you black and you African American and you're a Negro. You can't do that. So therefore, I agree with what Sister Emma was saying about education, about what Brother Yoel was saying about education, and I agree with you, Brother Tarhaka, what you were saying about education and knowing thyself, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay. Dr. Walter Williams, that was excellent giving us that information. I got a chance to the United States Supreme Court, and for those of you who are new, when you hear me say that, I'm talking about my mama, and dealing with her is like sometimes like pulling hen's teeth, and they ain't got none. But she told me, she said, you know what? I said, what? She said, when you was a baby, she said one day, because I used to get up and get your bowl and put your cereal in it and get you and set you down so you could eat breakfast. But this particular day, I was sleeping late. I was tired. I had been working, and I wasn't on time for your cereal. She said, you crawled on my chest and took your hands and pried my eyelashes up. and it appeared, and she said she was asleep. She said, you crawled out the bed, crawled in the kitchen, and went in the cabinet and got your bowl, and crawled up to the table and put your bowl on the table and crawled back down and opened up the other cabinet and got your cereal out and put the box on the table and tried to pour your cereal in the bowl, and cereal went in the bowl, but it was cereal everywhere. she said by the time she caught me, I was on the way out the refrigerator with the milk. And she said, oh, no. She said, I'm going to get you right. I said, you caught me before I put the milk? She said, well, yeah, because if I hadn't got you, you would have had milk everywhere, and you would have been there eating your cereal, and with a disaster in the kitchen. She said, I'm so glad I caught you. And she said, I was halfway woke when I seen you bent in the corner on your knees going around the corner to the kitchen. And she said she closed back her eyes and then she realized, wait a minute, he loose. Let me go in here and see what he up to, because I hear stuff up in the kitchen. And she caught me with about to drag the milk out the refrigerator, because I hadn't got in there. I had stools and all kind of stuff where I could get up and get my stuff and get my groove on. And she but anyway, Sister McGowan, is you with us? Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, we're here. You want to weigh in on some of this?
Well, what, the education part? So we went so many places. Well, what? I have two sons, and they went to school. But you know what? I got one son who can. Both of them can do it. But one of them can build a computer from scratch, as they say, like you bake a cake. Always put all the stuff in and make it work. So what I'm saying is, but he never went to school for it. He never went to school for it. He learned it on his own. And sometimes he even go and do computers in the neighborhood for different people, even sometimes offices and stuff. And I mean, so it's like a car. He can hear a car and tell you what's wrong with it without going under the hood. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
And when they was little kids, I couldn't have a TV in their room because he was working on it. I was afraid he'd go execute himself. I kid you not. But you know what? Do credit to him. His father had did refrigeration plans when he was in high school, but he didn't do anything with it. But he used to build all those little cars that go around the track. He'd buy the body, but that was it. All the rest of the stuff he put it together, the remote, everything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we got a lot of talented people, but we're not really encouraged to use the talents that we naturally have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying school because school, what it does a lot of times is put people, what they got naturally to them, they want the school show them that these certain things are more important than what they have, but they don't realize they can make a living doing it, or their talent can take them through life a lot of times better than careers. So
you know what?
Where we going?
The thing is this: every man and every woman that comes into this life and has ever come into this life came in with something. We were all born with talents, and these particular talents that we are born with are talents that nobody else can do the way we do them. And this is what we have to understand. You were born with talents. A lot of us get lost and we don't know what our talents are. So that's one of the main things that we have to concentrate on, finding out what our talents are. And in my opinion, one of the best ways to do that, and I'm gonna do a show on this, is to understand time. understand how the planets move in conjunction with letting you in and letting you out, and being a blessing and being a curse, when to stand up, when to sit down, when to run and when to walk, and all of this here, how this thing goes, because one of the biggest things that's been covered up is our complete understanding of time. We got a man-made artificial constructive time. Mathematics and numbers don't lie. Everything in the palm of your hand, all the markings and stuff in your palm of your hand says something about who you are.
That's right.
All of the hairs on your head are all numbered. Everything deals with mathematics, and math don't lie. And when we can understand and get our handle on it, then we can start taking it and using it to our advantage. We live in a man-made artificial constructive time. The numbers is 1260.
Is an illusion. Wow.
But real time, if we start dealing with real time and understanding everything we can about real time, which is 1320, the day you came into this earth, all right, you take the month you were born, you take the day you was born on, and you take the entire full year number. You add them numbers up. Okay, now once you add them numbers together, you're going to get a number. Then you take these two digits and you multiply. You add these two digits, which will give you a single number. That is your life path number. And you're going to work that number from the day you're born until the day you die. I'm working a 6. So I take the Gregorian calendar in 1260 artificial man-made constructive time, and I mark out everything. I start with the first 6 in the month, and then I come back and I add up what 2 numbers during the month that will end in 6, and then I go to the final number, and then I add them 2, and that will tell me the last day. And on these days, these will be the best days that I have. So I have to do the most damage on these days. Okay, it's the month of January. All right, if you got your calendar, you count for January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now I got that mark for the 6. What is the next best day? 1.5 or 1 plus 5 is 6. That's the 15th. 1 and 5 is 6. All right, now what's the last one I'm going to get? That's on the 24th of this month. 4 plus 2 is 6. So when we started, and these are sciences that we had a long time ago, and this is just a small fraction of what we use to build the greatest civilizations the world has ever seen. And we have people who don't look like us that have your sciences and are using your sciences to live, become wealthy, and rich and powerful. And we are messing around. We got to go back, and we got to start dealing with the math, because math don't lie. Now, when I was in school, I hated math. But finally, I realized that, okay, that's why it's so important. We need to understand that. We need to take the numbers. We need to use it. We need to ask the question of why is it that when we are born, they put our footprint on the birth certificate. And from that day forward, We don't want your footprint no more because we already know who you are. We want your fingerprints because that gives us a chance to do some stuff to keep away from who you are. When you go in a courtroom, you know, hey, I'm ready to put my footprint. Oh no, you can't. You come in, you take your shoe off, we'll lock you up. You may not do that because once you tell who well, this is who I am. We know who you are. We got to make sure you don't know. Lord, call the police. Somebody after he's about to reveal some stuff. Cut the camera off. Shut the tape recorder down. Do not record the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You were born with it. You have it with you every day. Knowledge of self is the most powerful thing on this planet. Brother Yoel, you still with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you. And that makes me a 6'2", brother.
Oh, you working 6?
Yeah, that makes me. We working the same number.
Dr. William.
Yes, sir.
Dr. William, what you working?
What am I working?
Yeah.
What number?
Give me the number.
Well,
give me the number. Huh?
I really don't know. The only
Do
thing
you
that I
want to
know
reveal that information?
Huh?
Do you want to reveal that information?
Well, when you say what number am I working?
Mm-hmm. What is the number of the month you was born in? What month?
Oh, I was on the 9th. That's my number. I see where you're coming from. I was born on the 9th.
Okay, so we got 08, 09, and the year.
31.
1931. So what we do is we'll take these numbers and add them together. 8 and 9 is what?
8 and 9 is 17.
All right, 17. Plus 1 is 18. Huh?
Right.
Plus 9 is what? Plus 3 is what? And plus 1 is what?
Well, let's go back over it again. 9 and 8 is 17.
8. Okay.
All right, and then I got. Have you went into the 31 yet? Or you had
got
all
to go
those
from
together?
1931. 31.
1931.
So 1 plus 9 plus.
That's 14.
Okay.
That's 14. 14 and 17 then.
14 and 17. All right. So 7 and 4 is 11.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now
31.
we got 1, 2, 3. We got 31. So 3 and plus 1 is what?
4.
That's a 4.
4. You've been working a 4 since the day you was born, and you'll be working a 4 until the day you die. So what we got to do is we got to find all the knowledge about a 4. We got to learn everything we could possibly learn about a 4, a person that's working a 4. And then we look at the astrological stuff, and we look at the ancients in 2016. The numbers are all math go from 0 to 9. Anything outside of 9 doesn't count. All math, all numbers, all shapes and sizes, and all math from 0 to 9. That's supreme mathematics. So within the confines. Huh?
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay, your master numbers, you don't add them together. Your master 11, you don't add it. Because that's
the
numerology you talking. Yes.
Yeah. We just getting the life path number. We haven't gotten to the rest of it yet, because what we got to do is we got to go backwards.
Yeah, because you didn't.
And we're going to deal with Huh?
Yeah, I said that all the men asked the men about the men, but they didn't ask about me.
Okay, but we gonna get to you. Just hold on a minute. We're just trying to get some understanding about the math. By the time we get to you, you give us the number. We got you. You. We've been in the house. We ain't put you in it yet. Hold on a minute. Okay. All math. When you go to a stop sign, that's an octagon shape. It got corners on it, so we add it up. When we add it up, it's within the confines of supreme mathematics. A circle is 360 degrees. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. 6 plus 3 plus 0 is what? 9. All of it's going to add up to 9. I ain't going into all that, but we're going to get straight to the point. Okay. The year 2016 was what we are calling today last year. But last year ain't here yet. The year began in spring and end in spring. All years begin and end in spring. Okay, all right. So, okay, wait a minute now. If we go from 0 to 9, that's supreme mathematics. We deal with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anything outside of that, 10, 11, 12, hold on, throw that in the garbage. We don't need that. We're going to do the same thing that our ancestors used to build the greatest civilization the world has ever seen. So if it's 2016 and the number marking that year was 9, so when spring comes, it'll be 2017. What's the number that's going to mark that year? It'll have to be the number 1. Let me shut my mouth.
New beginning.
That's all you're getting tonight. Now, Emma, give me your numbers.
I'm 3.
Give me the numbers.
I'm 3. I know, because I already do numerology.
You work in the 3.
Yeah.
All right. So if you work in the 3, then we need to learn everything we could possibly learn about a 3. We need the positive. We need the negative. We need everything about the 3. Now there's one more thing. We're going to take what they have already put down about who you are. We're going to take the animal aspect of this thing. We're going to deal with the Cancer, Sagittarius, Leo, and all that right there. All right.
Okay.
I'm on born July the 8th, 1953. That is the month of Cancer. On the 8th day in 1953, the animal that ruled that year was the water snake. So we have a Cancer snake, which is very, 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 very rare. Wonderful. Beautiful creature. But if he bites you, it's over. You're done, sir. So, we got August the 9th, 1931. So, we got August. We got the 9th day, which is, if I'm not right off the top of my head, I think it might what Dr. Williams of Virgo?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is it Virgo?
Leo.
Leo is still Leo. Okay, Leo Ryan. Okay, you and Obama really understand one another. You understood him.
Right, we both Leos.
Well, so he don't understand that, man.
Yeah.
Me and Obama
All
understand.
1931. Now we got to deal with the year part of them. We got to find which one. Where my book at? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm digging over this thing. I got this stuff out here. 1931. We got to find out what that is. What animal rule are you in? So we'll know what we're dealing with.
Okay.
All right, so just hold on just a second. I'm finna get it. I gotta wait a minute. Hold on, we're gonna get this real thing right here because people be listening to us all the time, and they need to know who they're listening to.
Right.
So we gonna right here. I got that now, baby. We finna roll. All right, 1931, 1931. What animal ruled that year? Let's see. Let's go back. Here we go. 1931.
1931, right?
All right. So, February the 17th, 1931, until February the 5th, 1932. 32. You're born in a year of the ram. That's a goat. You are extremely
lion?
Huh? Well, you're a little one. You're extremely artistic. That's a whole kind of royal, just like any king, royal and all this stuff, which is very, very creative and very detailed. And once you lay it down, it's over. There is no challenges to the throne. There is no such thing as we need to investigate this because this don't none of that. Once it hits the pavement, it's over. You can go on over to the house and unlock your door, go in and lay down because there's nothing you can do with this here. This is it. You're done. You can call Congress. You can call the Senate. You can call the Pope. Ain't none of that going to work once this hit the paper and it's coming from you.
Now, Brother Tarhaka, you're talking as if you're in a chamber or something, a vacuum or something. Can you clear up your words? Yeah. Again, some type of echo like.
Oh, well, that is because we got people, we're under attack. And we got people from certain places that are trying to distort, shut down, push over, and all kind of stuff to keep this information from being dispensed.
Okay.
Every time I do a broadcast, that happens. They attack the music. They attack what's being said. This is on the regular. This is always.
Okay.
Even when they find out that I'm finna go on the air, same thing happens.
Okay, I'm clear. You're clear enough. Yeah.
So this is on a regular occasion. It doesn't matter what I'm going to talk about. The fact that I'm coming on the air to talk is under attack.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, you're clear now. So now, what were you saying about?
Huh?
Go ahead. I said, what were you saying about my birthday? I was born 8/9/31, August 9th, 1931.
Yeah, you're born in a year of the ram. You're born under the month of Leo and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
Everybody that's everybody that's born into this world and come on this rock. I usually be honest with you, and that's a whole different ball game, and I don't want to get all the way down into that because that's going to take a whole lot of science. But you already have been here before.
I've been here before, huh?
Yeah, you've been there before, and you didn't finish what you was doing the last time, so you back again. And if you don't finish this time, you may come back and do it some more. it's totally going to be left up to you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But anyway, that's how it goes. You know, if you go back and look at Egyptians, if you look at the ancient African Egyptian sciences and stuff, they tell you right there about the reincarnation. They already know how it goes. And we simply go and come. And all that crying in the church, brother, see them died and all that, get up, get out the way, so they come back. They come back to your grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and always you go and come. You always have, and you always will.
Okay. Well, you know, Emma, Sister Emma?
Hold on
Emma?
1 second. Hold on, Dr. Williams. Hold on.
Okay.
Emma.
Yeah, I'm here. I heard
you.
Can
you hear me, Sister Emma?
Yeah. Who
now, Emma, Brother Tarhaka, she knows about what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
She's
been
studying it for years, you know.
Yeah,
so,
do you know a lot about astrology? Do you know about the Anunnaki? Do you know about the reptilian people? You know all about them?
Who you talking to?
Yeah.
I'm talking to everybody.
You know for a fact.
I don't know anything. That's
if
my
I
subject.
cut loose with that's going to change the landscape of the whole show. And once we cut loose with that information, you know Nibiru is on his way.
Who? Nibiru?
Yeah. He's on his way.
Oh, they already is. They got all kind of. You know what? They got all kind of portals in this earth right now that they come and go.
Well, I don't talk about it. The reason I talk about it because it's huge.
the moon been constructed. They said if we didn't. Carl Sagan even said if we didn't have a moon, we'd be much better off. A lot of scientists say that. So that tells me that the moon wasn't a natural part of the planet.
Well, we got a whole lot of stuff that people don't understand.
No, I'm just dropping that one on you, so if people want to know, they can look it up and figure it out themselves. Okay.
Hey, Brother Tarhaka, when you have the show that you're talking about with the subject that you're talking about now, Brother Tarhaka.
Yeah, I'm going to do a show on it because on the Gregorian calendar on the 28th we moved into what was the Chinese will be celebrating the year of the rooster, and but we have to understand that the Chinese are located in a different hemisphere. But as far as we are concerned,
Brother Tarhaka,
we all on Earth. But we all on Earth.
Yeah, that's correct.
We all on the same planet, Earth.
All right, now
that's why we have to. That's why we have to deal with natural time.
Hello.
Yeah, well,
when you have this program that you're talking about now, having for the coming, I want you to have Sister Emma McGowan as your special guest because she knows about this subject.
All right.
That's one of on subjects. So I recommend
we got a deal.
Have her on it with you.
And you go watch all your Star Wars movies. Hey, watch all your Star Wars. Watch all your Star Wars movies because they're trying to tell you what's about to happen. Because if you notice lately, there's been a whole lot of them that hadn't been made for years. But lately, there's been quite a few of them.
What's that? What did you say now?
They got to hold to your sciences, and they showing you. They don't give it to you and let you use it, but they're showing you what they know about your sciences. See, you got to understand the Sphinx. That was a room down at the bottom of the Sphinx. You know, they've been in there, they've been in Honduras to open up the vaults and stuff that was left by your ancestors. For you to maintain the rule of the world. They done got a hold to your sciences. They don't even know how to use 75% of what they got. The only person who can use it is the person born this way.
Wait a minute. Let me just say this. Wait a minute. Wait. Well, you know what? I don't know about, because that was if you look, every civilization that tried to build an empire or had built one, it doesn't exist anymore. And that's what we are on our way to. Just think about it.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say to it about now. Because right now, you go to all the major empires that you know about has not lasted. They disappeared.
That's right.
You know why? You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Right.
We on our way too. We on our way.
I'll tell you why. You said empire. That means that you, in order to have an empire, that means one has to go and travel from their main homeland and go out into someone else's homeland and conquer them and put them under their control. Thereby, they call it, this is my empire. What's under the umbrella of the empire is other people's country and other people's culture.
I understand that.
So therefore, you can't. Wait now, let me finish. The people who is doing those type of deeds, which is against humanity, against nature's laws, the empire cannot stand. It falls. But when you have a civilization coming from a culture, such as our ancestors, ancient Egyptians, who brought forth civilization for all of humanity. And I speak today, at this very moment, that civilization is being used all over this planet. So our culture, coming from our ancestors, is still alive today and being used. But I agree with you when you say empires. Empires never, ever stand. They always fall and collapse. You're right.
Well,
Sister Emma.
Brothers and sisters, I wish I could have got Brother Yoel back in one more time, but we are expired. We are actually off the radar. So what I'm going to have to do, brothers and sisters, we're going to have to shut it down, and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to create this show, and we're going to put it up, and we're going to be back. How about it?
Okay, no problem. But I want you to have that show with Sister Emma on there because she knows about what you're talking about. And that subject of zodiacs, things like that, that's not my subject. So I won't be on that show. If Yoel knows about that subject, he can be on there. But Sister Emma, she knows that subject. So I would suggest, Brother Tarhaka, that you have her on that show as your special guest.
All right. I will do that. Well, my brother, I certainly appreciate you all for being here tonight. We did. I think we dispensed a tremendous amount of information. You all done a wonderful job, as always. And I'm going to have to close it down. And I'll be sending you the video because we're going to put this up on YouTube, and we'll be ready to roll with. Okay?
Oh, no problem. Looking forward, Brother Tarhaka, and thank you again for having us on your program tonight. It was very informative. We passed a lot of information to the listening audience via Sister Emma McGowan from San Francisco, Brother Yoel from Chicago, and me, Walter Williams, from Chicago, and, of course, our illustrious host, Brother Tarhaka Amana El Bey. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank everybody on this panel for being here. And with that, I'm going to say, Me'at Hotep to you all. Love everybody, and all out there who's listening, love you too. So Me'at Hotep, and I'll see you on the last Sunday of February.
Okay. All right, my brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Tarhaka Amana El Bey. And you all have a good evening.
Listen, I got all these bill collectors calling me, saying we need a payment and we need it for free. I'm trying my best to stay on my feet, but it's getting kind of hard trying to make these ends meet. The cable man act just like that money is. groceries. Soon as I get money, it leaves my hands. Tired of wrapping up pennies and picking up cans. 'Cause what I ain't got, you sure can't get. I'm trying my best, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. Oh, baby, what I'm gonna do, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. Oh, Lord have mercy, going out of my mind, 'cause I'm just making it.
Hello?
Mr. Cunningham?
Yeah.
This is Veronica from the phone company. We didn't know when you're going to come pay us, because you're real close to termination.
Now look here, I done told y'all that I'm living check to check and I just ain't got it. But I wish one of y'all would come down here and try to cut my phone off, because I'll come down there and put my foot in your hello.
'Cause what I ain't got, you sure can't get. I'm trying my best, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. I don't know what I'm gonna do, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. They keep calling me, oh, 'cause I'm just making it. Oh, baby, what I'm gonna do, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. Oh, baby, going out of my mind, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. I ain't got no money and my bills are due, 'cause I'm just making it check to check. Let me hold $5, I'll get back to you, 'cause I'm just making it check to check.
You've been listening to Moorish Talk Live 100 with Tarhaka Amana El Bey. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Peace.